Hi guys, so welcome back. For this video we're going to be looking to work on our thoracic mobility. So the thoracic portion of your spine is the area where essentially your neck area ends and your lower back begins. So we're going to look to mobilize the muscles that constitute your torso. Now, as with any other part of the body, if a particular area becomes tight, the surrounding areas have to put in twice the work to compensate for the area that's become stiff. So in regards to poor thoracic mobility, that places excess stress into your neck area and in particular your lower back. Hence why it's pretty important that you try and prevent this area of the body from becoming completely immobile. Now, as with all my other exercise videos, if you're not sure if you should be practicing the exercises, please do get the go-ahead from your doctor. Always try and use pain as an indicator as well as to whether an exercise is or is not working for you. So if you experience pain and it increases and it persists, the next couple of days from there, it's a strong sign that that's not working for you. If you experience a bit of pain, it subsides and then it goes away. Usually that means whatever you're doing is working, but only you can be the judge. Just a quick disclaimer, there will be quite a lot of twists within this exercise video, so if you know that's a movement you need to avoid, skip this one. Alright, so when we're ready, we're going to begin. Alright, so you're going to come to a tabletop position towards the middle of the mat. So you want the hands directly beneath the shoulders, shoulder width apart, knees directly beneath the hips. So we're going to start off with what's known as cat and cow stretches. So as you breathe in, you're dropping your belly towards the floor. You're rolling your shoulders back, looking forward. As you breathe out, you're going to flex your spine towards the ceiling as you tuck the head and tailbone under. So remember, as you breathe in, you're dropping your navel towards the ground, rolling your shoulders back, looking forward. And then as you exhale, you're flexing your spine towards the ceiling. So keep doing these within your own time. So again, breathe in, belly towards the floor, shoulders back, look forward. As you breathe out, flex your spine towards the ceiling, looking downwards. So here you're essentially performing basic flexion and extension of your spine. This would actually be one of my top sequence of stretches I'd recommend to people that are experiencing back pain, particularly lower back. So here you'll work your core and you'll also promote spinal flexibility as well. Now as you go through these movements, try and keep your arms straight, try and keep your hips exactly where they are. All the motion and movement here is coming from your spine. Good, we'll do one more set. Again, really try and exaggerate each movement you perform as well. Right, last set. Good, let's release. Alright, back to a neutral position. So from here, we're going to do some rotation work with the upper body. With this exercise, try not to let your hips move around too much. So from this exercise, try not to let your hips move around too much. All the movement is coming from your upper back. Alright, so from here, you're going to take your right hand across the back of the neck. And from here, you're going to drive your right elbow over towards the crease of the left elbow. And as you do that, you're breathing out. So you exhale. And from here, as you inhale, you're going to lengthen. Reach that right elbow up towards the ceiling, pull your right shoulder back, look up. So only go as far as you comfortably can without letting the hips move. Let's do 4 more of those. So take that right elbow back towards your left, exhale, inhale, extend that arm all the way back up and see if you can go a little deeper each round that you take. Good, draw that right shoulder back. Last 3, bring that right elbow back in. Exhale. Inhale, reach that right arm, right elbow back up. Draw your right shoulder back. 2 more. Exhale, bring that right elbow towards the left. Inhale, reach the right elbow to the ceiling. Last one. Take that right elbow towards your left. Exhale. Inhale, reach that elbow all the way back up to the ceiling. Rotate that right shoulder back. Look up. Good, release. Take a little breather here, and now we're going to switch. And I'll change sides so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, so back into a tabletop position. Hands shoulder width apart. Knees hip distance apart. It's the same form that we had on the other side. From here, you're going to take your left hand towards the back of the neck. So remember, as you exhale, that's the point you compress the body. As you inhale, that's the point you lengthen. So exhale, take your left elbow towards your right. Inhale, extend that left elbow up to the ceiling, roll that left shoulder back. Keep the hips where they are. Good, last 4. Take that left elbow back towards your right. Exhale, inhale, take that left elbow up towards the ceiling. Roll that shoulder back. Good, last 3. Take that left elbow back towards your right. Exhale, inhale, reach that left elbow back up. Roll that left shoulder back. Good, 2 more. Take that left elbow back towards your right. Exhale. Inhale, reach that left elbow back up. Rotate that left shoulder back. Keep the hips where they are. Good, last 1. Take that left elbow back towards your right. Exhale. Inhale, reach that left elbow back up towards the ceiling. Roll that left shoulder back. Good, let's release. And now from here, you're going to come to lie flat. You're going to take the elbows directly beneath the shoulders. So work on back bends here. If you experience any pain, keep your upper body relatively low to your mat. Right, so start with the elbows directly beneath the shoulders. Now from here, actively shrug your shoulders down away from the ears. You have the option of keeping your elbows connected to the floor. If you want to progress a little deeper, lift the elbows off, or even straighten out the arms. And try and look either forward or up. And don't let the shoulders roll up. Keep actively drawing them down away from your ears. Good, release. Let's do 2 more of those. Now if you found that level of the stretch enough, keep your hands there. If you want to go a little deeper, shuffle them a couple inches in. Roll the shoulders down, and then from there peel your body away from the mat. So you're dictating how high you want to go. Remember, you can either look forward or up. Good, so release. Last one of these. Now again, you can keep the hands here. I'm going to take my hands either side the chest. Once again, roll the shoulders down, and then peel your body up and away from the mat. Again, don't go too high, particularly experience any pain. Good, let's release. Come to lie flat. Alright, so we're working to a chest stretch here. So you're going to take your left arm out to the side, so the palm is facing down, and the left arm is level to your left shoulder. So right hand next to your chest is going to push your weight onto that arm. So you can either turn your hips to face the side or the ceiling. That depends on how open you are in your shoulders. Good, so release. Come to lie flat. So readjust. Right, so right arm out to the side. In line to your right shoulder. Left hand next to your chest is going to shift your weight onto that arm. So you can either turn your hips to face the side or the ceiling. Good, let's release. From here, let's make our way back into a tabletop position. And then from here, we're going to make our way into a downward dog. So I just want to quickly explain how you align your shoulders in a downward dog, because this is a really good stretch, not only for your upper body, but you'll essentially hit your hamstrings and calves as well. So for your downward dog, you want your hands shoulder width apart, and you want to externally rotate your upper arms. So if you don't know what that feels like, play around with internally and externally rotating the top part of your arms. The external rotation is going to feel like you're swinging the crease of your elbows to face forward. And naturally, once I'm in my downward dog, that gives me more space between my ears and shoulders. And that's the form you want to maintain. So am I ready? Tabletop position, hands beneath the shoulders, knees directly beneath the hips. And then you're going to tuck the toes under, lift your hips up, and then pull your hips as far back as you can away from your wrists. Now if you have tight hamstrings and your back rounds, bend the knees and then pull your chest back. Remember, you want to externally rotate your upper arms, but keep your middle finger facing forward. So you know, apply pressure to the backs of the heels. Don't need to get the feet flat, but you do want to send weight through the backs of the feet. Good, let's give it a couple more breaths here. Remember, you're trying to evenly shift your weight across the wrists and feet. You don't want to feel like your weight is dumping into your hands. So to shift weight backwards, you pull your chest and hips back. Let's give it another 4 breaths. Good, last 2. Good, release. Right, from here, let's make our way into standing. So for your next exercise, I'm going to encourage you to grab hold of a strap. You don't have to use a strap per se. You can use a towel, a belt, any item of clothing that you have handy, just something that you can grip onto. So you're going to take the hands that widen the shoulder width apart and move backwards just so you can see the movements. Make sure your feet are about hip distance apart, hands slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Now if you get pain with overhead movement, so this being overhead movement, just take the hands to the hips and then side bend instead. Right, so from here I'm holding on to the strap, and I'm pulling my arms up and backwards, so I'm getting a little stretch into my chest here as well. Now from here you're going to tilt over to your right, so you're going to mirror me in the exercises. Now from there, keep your left shoulder rolled back, chest open, look to the ceiling. Back to center, and now you're going to tilt to your left. Keep your right shoulder rolled back. Back to center, so we'll do that. We'll do 2 more sets. So you're going to tilt back over to your right. Keep your left shoulder rolled back. Good, back to center and over to your left. So try and go a little deeper each round. Keep the opposite shoulder rolled back, so your right shoulder rolled back, chest is open. Alright, back to center, last set. Back over to your right. Back to center and to your left. Last one. Back to center. You're going to throw your strap aside. Alright, so for your next exercise, you're going to grab hold of a yoga block. If you don't have a yoga block handy, you can use a foam roller. You can use your yoga mat, a pillow. You can use something to substitute. So essentially the purpose of the block is that you place that in between your thighs. You squeeze the block and you want to try and prevent your hips from rotating round. So you want the rotation to come purely from your upper back. So the block's to help keep your hips square facing forward. Right, so from here, bring the arms out, shoulder level, palms face forward, thumbs face up. If this gives you shoulder pain, remember you can take the hands to the hips instead and just rotate from there. Right, so from here you're going to mirror me with the exercises. So from here you're going to draw your right arm back, left arm forward. Make sure your left hip doesn't move with you. So the rotation is coming from your shoulders, not from the lower body. Now see if you can look towards your right hand. Actively draw your left hip back if you need to. Good, back to center. And now over to your left. So draw that left arm back, right arm forward. See if you can look towards that back hand and actively draw your left hand away from the wall to your left. Good, back to center. Right, so 2 more sets. You're taking your left arm forward and your right arm back. And from there, see if you look to face that back hand. Actively pull your right hand away from the right hand side of the room and don't let your left hip follow you. Alright, back to center, over to your left. So left arm back, right arm forward. Draw that left arm away from the wall to your left. Don't let the right hip rotate with you. Right, back to center. Final set. So take your right arm back, left arm forward. Make sure your left hip doesn't follow you. Remember to try and pull your right arm away from the wall to your right. Good, back to center. Last one. And switch. So right arm forward, left arm back. Don't let that right hip follow you. Keep the hip square facing forward and actively pull your left hand away from the wall to your left. Good, come back to center and release. Alright, so for your next exercise, we're going to do what is known as revolved chair. So essentially you twist your upper body from a squat position. So just like the previous exercise, you want to make sure your hips don't rotate with your torso. You want to make sure your hips are squared, facing forward. If either side of your hip slides forward, that means the twist is coming from your lower back, not your upper back. So try and avoid one hip sliding forward, otherwise you won't get the benefits of the twist into your thoracic spine. Right, so let's start. You're going to bring your feet together so your big toes touch. So you want a narrow stance. Right, from here you're going to bend the knees, sit the bum back. Try and keep your back straight, so you don't want to round and you don't want to overarch either. So neutral spine. Right, from here you're going to take the hand center at the chest, and you're going to take your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. You're going to drive a lot of pressure from your left hand into your right. So use that to twist and rotate your upper body to face your left. Don't let that right knee pop forward. Keep the knees together. So hand center at the chest, fingers angled towards the throat, left elbow faces the ceiling. Every time you breathe out, see if you can apply a little bit more weight from your top hand into your bottom. And again, use that to progress your rotation. Let's give it 6 breaths. Good, last 4. Push the knees together. Final 2 breaths. Let's release. Hands to the knees. Shuffle your feet and knees so they're about slightly wider than hip distance apart. Turn your toes out, heels in. Make sure your knees are angled to your second biggest toe. Take your right hand to the inner part of that right knee. So don't let the knees track inwards. From there you're going to reach your left arm up and pull your left hand away from the wall to your left. Don't let your right hip rotate. Good, let's release. Back into standing, take a deep breath. And then you're going to switch. Right, so for the first squat, it's a narrow squat. So feet together, big toes touch. Hands center at the chest, bend the knees, sit the bum back. So remember you're keeping your back straight here. You're going to take your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Remember you're driving a lot of pressure from your right hand into your left. Use that to twist and rotate your upper body to face your right. Every time you breathe out, see if you can go a little further into your twist. Make sure your left knee isn't sliding forward here, so that's going to completely negate the benefits of the twist into your shoulders. Let's give it 6 more breaths. Remember, right elbow angled to the ceiling, hands center at the chest, fingers roughly angled to the throat. 2 more breaths. Good, stand in a squat, take the hands to the knees, shuffle your feet So they're slightly wider than hip distance apart. Turn your toes out, heels in. Make sure your knees face your second biggest toe. Take your left hand to the inner part of that left knee. Make sure the knee doesn't track inwards. Make sure the hip doesn't rotate to the side. From there, you're going to reach your right arm up and draw your right palm away from the wall to your right. Always remember, if you get shoulder pain with any overhead movement, just take the hands to the hip and rotate the shoulder back instead. Good, last breath. And let's release. Back into standing. Next exercise we're going to do is called a wall downward dog. Again, if you get pain with overhead stuff, maybe skip this one, or try the easier version. Try the first version, and if that hurts, back out the exercise altogether. So this stretch we're looking to work on, well, I guess we stretch into the pecs and also your lats here, particularly your lats. So you're going to come up against the wall, hands shoulder height. Body is arm's length away. So make sure the hands don't move here. From here you're going to pull your hips backwards and then you're going to pull your chest down. So don't look forward towards the wall. Let the head be heavy, look downwards. And don't let your lower back round or overarch. Keep a neutral spine. Good, last couple breaths here. And let's release. Alright, come back to your original starting point for the next one. So we're going to do a higher wall downward dog now. So with your hands shoulder height, calculate 2 hand distances higher. And then do the exact same thing. Hips back, chest down. Good, let the upper body be heavy. Every time you breathe out, see if you can soften a little bit further into your upper body and draw your chest a little closer to the floor. You don't want to feel like you're straining. Alright, last couple breaths. And release. Okay, let's shrug the arms out. Right, for the next exercise, you're going to come to lie flat on your back. Alright, so for this exercise, you're going to bring the arms out in a crucifix position. You're going to bring your legs so they're parallel to the ceiling. Now, idea here is you want to keep both arms connected to the ground at all times. And if you're tight in the chest, as you drop the knees over towards one side, you're going to feel a little stretch coming into the front here. So pushing the shoulders down, legs parallel to the ceiling. Drop the knees over towards your left. Don't let the knees make contact with the ground, they're just hovering above. This is where your core work comes in. Make sure the right arm and shoulder stays connected to the floor. Bring that knee back in and go over to the other side. It's nice and simple. This is actually a core exercise I throw into, well, I practice this in the gym and I throw this into my classes as well. So make sure again both arms stay connected to the ground. If you drop your knees over towards one side and one arm pops off the floor, then don't drop the knees too far to the ground, because you haven't got that control just yet. Good, a few more of these and then we're going to finish off with a spinal twist. Good, keeping both shoulders grounded, both arms connected to the floor at all points. And from here, let's start to pick up the speed a little bit. Alright, let's bring the knees back to center. And let's go for our spinal twist. So you're going to drop your knees over to the left, look to your right. Now if you can't drop those knees to the floor, either rest them on a block or a pillow, or whatever you have to substitute. But try not to have the legs elevated, try and have them rested onto something. And again, vital, keep your opposite arm and shoulder connected to the ground. Now from here, my legs have dropped over to my left. I'm going to start to look over to my right. Now you can apply a little bit more pressure here if you wanted to. You could take your left hand to the top part of that right knee and gently push downwards as you push your right shoulder towards the floor. Good, spin the knees back in. Start the knees above the hips, legs parallel to the ceiling. Drop over to your right. And then from there, look to the left. So remember, you can rest them on a block. And if you wanted to go a little deeper, or if you wanted to apply a little bit more pressure, take that right hand to the top part of that left knee and gently guide your legs downward as you push your left shoulder into the floor. Good, last couple breaths here. Bring the knees back in. Good. Alright, so that's you finished for today's session. Alright, so thanks for your time. If you like the content on my channel, please do like and subscribe. If you have any questions, you can find my social media, which will link you to all the pages with my contact details on. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch. Also, I'm going to recommend that you practice this video in conjunction with my other exercise videos. And I am going to be doing a further video on thoracic mobility, but we'll be using a foam roller for that video. Anyway, again, thanks for your time.